There's definitely been periods where I think to myself, I'm like, oh dang, I have like no experience. Like maybe I am behind in life. In all other aspects, I feel pretty far ahead. But it's like totally fine to have your first kiss later in life. I guess that's why I'm making this point. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. If you've never kissed a girl, that's totally fine. If you never want to kiss anybody, that's totally fine. You know, you do you. I just want to demystify if anybody who holds me in this crazy high regard of, I've definitely seen comments of like rekrap being a person. Or even friends saying like, nah, he's got all the girls. Like, I don't have all the girls, guys, okay? I do feel very confident in myself, and now I have my first kiss under my belt, so there's that. All right, on to the actual breakup part now. You might be asking, how long were you guys together? Why exactly did it end? What are the intricacies of all this? Again, I remind you, in the kindest way possible, screw you guys. You know, I'm not gonna talk about that. But it did end, and I have not talked to her since. I ended the call saying something like, I'm gonna end the call before my voice breaks. I ended the call, I sat on my beanbag, and I just cried. So it hurt a lot. That first week was particularly intense. It was sort of the only thing I could think about. I really treated that first week like I literally had a fever. I kind of laid in bed. I didn't really do anything. Okay, to be fair, I did do a lot of stuff. I actually kept up on my health phenomenally well. The very next morning after the breakup, I played pickleball because I had planned to play pickleball with my brothers and my dad. And low-key, I was kind of debating on skipping out of that because I wasn't sure if I could handle it. But I told them, hey, I just broke up with that girl. I don't really want to talk about it. There wasn't a whole ton to say, but I gotta say, playing pickleball, it kind of gave me a superpower. I just did not lose, and it was so dumb. I was like, why am I just not losing? I'm just like playing so well. It's like I got a superpower from being like so sad and destroyed. The night it happened, oh, that was the first night in a long time that I broke my my going to bed alarm, going to bed on time. That entire first week, my sleep was destroyed. There was no way I could fix it. No amount of meditating or thinking could rip me out of the mental spiral that was this like massive cloud of pain. The first night I sat on my roof for a little bit. My cousin came home. He saw me on the roof and he sent me a text. He said, "Are you okay?" I responded back, "No." And I don't want to talk about it because my cousin is great. If I wanted to talk about it, I wasn't going to talk to him about it. I really appreciate that he reached out though, but oh boy, that was a rough night. I called up a friend a couple of hours later and talked to them. So shout out to that friend. I actually talked to a lot of friends on several different occasions. A lot of the time I called people to talk about it. I called them when I didn't want to talk about it, which sounds kind of backwards, but I figured it would be good for me. So if I've called you, I mean, you know who you are. I really appreciate like having anybody to talk to about it. Another huge group of people that I want to shout out is all my friends in HBG. HBG is like a speedrunning friend group Discord server that I'm in. There's one text channel that we have in there that is my favorite by far, and it is called Homie Support. It's a channel where you can kind of just rant about any sort of hard thing that's going on in your life. And the first breakup, I stayed up for several hours. I wrote 5 pages and I just dumped all that in there. It was such a good story. I wrote so well during it was great. And I just want to say thank you to all of the people that responded to that. I felt so comforted and appreciated and loved, and that really helped. So shout out all you guys. One thing I found shocking from the breakup was I literally lost my appetite. I ate less. I lost weight. And looking back, it's honestly like hard to sort of describe or even remember the first couple of weeks. There were many hours of laying on my floor, staring at my ceiling, listening to sad music. There was a lot of sad music. I went on a lot of walks. Like I said, I kept up my health pretty well. I mean, aside from my sleep going down the drain because I couldn't sleep, and me eating less because I lost my appetite. I actually got like pretty lean, I'm not gonna lie. There's a stereotype of people out there going on like a workout revenge arc where you get like a revenge body. Like, and let me say, okay, first of all, I feel like I've just been on a revenge arc my whole life. I've like been tearing it up, bro. I feel fit. All growing up, I was super into school. I was salutatorian. I got a full ride scholarship. I found success with YouTube. I have a house paid off. I've tried really hard to be a nice person. Oh my gosh, I need to shut up. But I bring that up because the first time I heard about that revenge thing, I was like, bro, I already, like, what am I supposed to do? That's like a hard thing to talk about too. I'm talking well about yourself. And shout out my friends. They always said comforting stuff like, you're a great guy, Parker. You'll find somebody good. I appreciate that. But also, it does absolutely nothing for the pain. It doesn't help at all. You know, people say the things like, it'll pass with time, or like, this will make you stronger. You can go through this. You can do this. Which, like, sure, yeah, might be true. You know what it does, though? It does absolutely nothing for the pain. You just gotta freaking sit in it, and you gotta sit in it for so long, and it's up and down. Let me tell you, bro, it is not a linear process. There's waves, there's crashes, you go backwards so far, there's mental crash outs. I felt so existential for a lot of nights. It was just the biggest mental explosion of my entire life. And I've waited a long time to make this commentary. There's like so many weeks in there and days that are so like bad, and like I stopped like making as many videos. It was kind of nice that the Naked and Afraid series was kind of in the mix of all this, because I had videos like ready to go. Oh wait, you guys want to know some crazy lore? First episode of Naked and Afraid, I mentioned that I'm playing on a laptop. Do you know where I was? I was at Hat Girl's house recording that. I guess technically I was in the Airbnb. That's where I was when I started recording the Naked and Afraid series, which is over now. That actually took so long to come out. It was like 3 months of editing or something. It was like a limbo. When did we record? We recorded that a long time ago. Sometime during the first or second week, I went on a run with the goal to sort of just feel pain, because I felt I just wanted to feel something. And so I went out on a run without eating or drinking in the morning. Actually, not in the morning. I think it was in the afternoon, in the middle of summer. And you remember that video of me like almost dying in Japan from going on a long run? This one was worse, and I guess it kind of served its purpose. I definitely did not think about the breakup during that run because my body was just in so much pain. Thankfully, I made it home. First thing I did was drench myself under the shower in some cold water, and then I got cold and shivery. I ended up laying on my beanbag for like 2 hours. I guess I do a lot of stuff on my beanbag. Shout out beanbags. But the good news is, after doing that, I thought to myself, Parker, that is the stupidest thing you've ever done. Out of anything, you are never doing that again, because that is quite dangerous. I've often subscribe to, you know, sort of like David Goggins mindset, like push yourself hard. I think it's good to do that. I've definitely found my limit that was not safe whatsoever. Maybe it'd be different if I was like properly hydrated or had food in me, but that 14-mile run was pretty bad. I'm glad to say there were no more moments like that, but I definitely had times where I just wanted to feel sad, which was kind of strange. And this was a while later too, but at some point I was on my walk and I was like struggling to say hi to people because I just wanted to keep listening to sad music. I just wanted to keep feeling bad. I actually sort of turned my mental around, which was really nice. I started listening to some happy music and I got some better closure. I read the last message that she sent me. I asked for like closure on the thing. This is the first time that I read that back, and that was like good for me. I probably should have read that back earlier, but I've kind of treated anything concerning her like nuclear waste, very hazardous, very dangerous material. I sent her a message a couple of days after things ended. I basically said, do not contact me for anything until at least this date. Like, I'm not a fan of unfriending people, but I just, no contact, zero contact. That is the move. If you ever go through a breakup, this is one of the things you should take away from this video. No contact. Repeat that with me. No contact. It's so important. You're not a bad person for doing it. You just need time to heal. heal. And I guess I don't have personal experience with this, but from the things that I've heard about, like any reaching back to that person, it's just opening those wounds. It's undoing the stitches. You're gonna have to do that healing at some point. It's only delaying it. And I think at some point you can probably like be able to talk to them. I don't plan to like shun her for the rest of my life, but I'm also not gonna like, I could not talk to her every day like I did before. I can always be friendly. And I guess I'm sort of like talking about the future here. Have I talked to her? Will I ever talk to her? Ooh, let's go back to our other point. In the nicest way possible? Screw you. All right, let's move on. At some point, I could notice that things got better. It took a while, but I think a month and a half in was sort of the first time I got some real semblance of normalcy. I was streaming, and I said out loud, why am I so happy right now? Because the whole day had just been good, and I was not used to that happening. I actually didn't cry very much throughout pretty much this whole process, but I think that's more of a testament to me as a person, maybe guys in general. The amount of times I cried from age 10 to 21 is less than 5. So I've definitely got better at crying over the past couple of years, but I didn't. It's kind of funny, I didn't shed too many tears on this, but my mental was just so utterly destroyed. I remember driving down to my mom's house, listening to music, and I had to keep changing the station because like I kept just like breaking me down. But this is another point that I wanted to bring up, because when I went to that family gathering, I was also considering not going because the breakup sort of just happened, and I really didn't want to talk about it. So what I did was I made a group chat with like my family, and I said, hey, I broke up with that girl. I don't want to talk about it. Please don't mention it. Thanks. And that was like very good communication. And I survived the night, which was awesome. The best way I can describe the healing process and how things got better was it came in waves. And those waves got less frequent and less intense, but they were still waves. You go up and then you go down, and then you go up and then you go down. It really is just experiencing grief. I'm not the most experienced on grief. I'm still pretty young, but you go through the stages, man. That entire first week, I was in denial. I didn't want it to end, and I had to slowly accept that it's ended and that I'm gonna keep moving on. You know, I would walk outside and it would be all sunny, and I think to myself, it's so dumb. Why is it sunny outside right now? Why is the weather good? And one of the best freaking pieces of advice that I got is you just gotta sit with it. The only way to go through a breakup is to go through a breakup, and it hurts. I've said this far too many times. I'm sorry. I should take this back. It just hurts so much, bro. And I've got so much empathy for people going through this. And it's probably not even the worst breakup out there. You know, I think you can get self-conscious because the funny thing is, as soon as you start talking about it, the first question that a lot of people will ask is, oh my gosh, how long were you guys together? And when I hear that, I kind of recoil. I'm like, it's not like I had a 3-year relationship where I was living with somebody. Like, it wasn't, it makes you almost feel invalidated with your feelings. Don't let that happen. One of the best things that I heard throughout this entire process was the only thing that determines how bad you hurt from a breakup is how attached you were. And so to end this video, I want to shout out a couple of YouTube videos that I watched early on in the breakup that I think really helped. Number one, I'll put it on screen. Can't remember the guy who made it. How to survive a breakup. And it was a very male-oriented video, very direct. In the intro, he said, this isn't going to be a sappy video. This is, I'm already, like, if you're going through a breakup, you're already sad. Like, you don't want to hear that. If I was going through a breakup, I just want somebody to tell me, like, what to do. It was very actionable steps that I think, one of the biggest ones was no contact. I'm going to re-emphasize that. I think I was already doing it. But do not, no contact. That's crazy. It's okay. Take some time for yourself. The second one is a video from a YouTuber called Caroline. I watched a lot of her videos on like breakup stuff, relationship. There was lots of entertaining things. I can't remember the exact video I'm thinking of, but that was a very good one. Another one, this one was really good. 6 months of heartbreak documented. I think the guy's name is Steven or something. Beautiful video. Awesome to watch. That's the sort of stuff I I wanted to watch when I was really going through it. So if you ever find yourself going through a breakup in life, which on average, most of you probably will. If you remember this, maybe come check out some of these resources because they are good videos. There's also another good TED Talk that I'll also put. That was a good watch. There's some smart people talking about heartbreak out there. I remember watching that how to survive a breakup video, and he just like started pulling up some stats because I think those are good. He said, on average, it takes people 11 weeks to get over somebody. And I sat there on day like 5 thinking to myself, oh no, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. That's so long. Please, no. And let me tell you, I mean, I'm not going to go into the dates. I actually don't know the dates off the top of my head. But I passed the 11-week mark, baby. I passed it. And I remember looking at my calendar thinking, oh my gosh, wait. That was 11 weeks. So if you are going through a breakup, I'm sorry, but this probably wasn't the best video to watch if you are going through a breakup. It's probably a little bit more like a higher energy. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. But it sucks, man. I'm sorry. And all the other people that aren't going through a heartbreak, well, I hope you enjoyed listening to this. Hopefully you learned something. What am I going to do next? Have I started dating? When am I going to start dating? What does my future look like? Again, in the nicest way possible. Screw you guys. I don't know if I'll talk about relationship stuff, but I did here, and I think it was really cool and good. It's a very important story to me. So thanks for listening, and I guess I'll see you in another commentary video. Maybe I'll just be like talking about a speedrun on the next one. Who knows? I feel half the videos on this channel are just talking about Minecraft, half are life stories. Okay, bye.